The eyes have it.
Our journey has been steady from the advent. With crystal clear vision, we started off as a news online portal. We subsequently evolved into a magazine, and now on your radio. We do not only bear the name Media House. We practice with the best ethos of our professional calling, presenting facts with objectivity. We are committed and resolute. We are HallowMace. We are the standard bearers. It's HallowMace on radio, dedicated to promotion of legislature, democracy, and good governance. It's hot, interactive, educating, engaging, and entertaining. HallowMace on radio, Tuesday, 10 a.m. on Democracy Radio, 104.9 FM. HallowMace on radio. Parliament. Brought to the people. Brought to the people.
Very good morning and welcome to this edition of HallowMace on Radio on Democracy Radio 104.9. I am Anayo Akwiti, your usual guest, and my executive producer remains the same, Anderson Osebe. Is here doing all the movement. And today we'll be taking a look at an interesting topic, state of the nation. And then we'll be taking a look at what it is that Nigeria is today and what we think we can be as we move into the new year. Well, quite a lot to discuss this morning, and we have also two very important persons in the studio. I will begin by introducing Dr. Gabriel Nwambu. Dr. Gabriel Nwambu is the Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness. Dr. Nwambu, good morning and welcome to Democracy Radio 104.9.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. Let's also tell you that we'll be having Honorable Dr. Uzoma Nkem Abonta, who is on his way. Nkem Abonta was a member of the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th National Assembly. He will be here with us to share his experiences. Someone who has been in the legislature, as we will discuss the state of the nation. Dr. Nwambu, let's begin. It's actually difficult to say where we'll begin, but let's begin, as usual, with the polity. Because when we talk about the state of the nation, we're talking about where Nigeria stands today, from where it was coming from since 1999. We're talking about democracy. We're talking about everything that works to make a nation work. But let's take it bit by bit. Let's begin with Nigeria. Let's begin with security, because that is important. That is constitutional. The Constitution said it's the duty of government to ensure security of life and property of its citizens. Now, Dr. Nwambu, where do you think we stand today? Can we say we have done well enough to ensure security for Nigerians?
Yeah, thank you so much for your very germane and all-important question. I will start by saying that in Nigeria today, insecurity remains a severe and multifaceted threat across the 6 geopolitical zones, in Nigeria, hindering economic activities, displacing millions of Nigerians, and eroding public confidence, in the state's ability, that is, in the country called Nigerians' ability to protect its citizens. That is the worst part of what is happening to us now. And it ranges from pure full-time terrorism to, what some people call banditry, but for me, banditry and terrorism are synonymous. They are just the same kind of people. They are heinous. They unleash very serious terror, to the victims, across the geopolitical zones in the country. And then we also have what some people classify as farmer-header clashes and all that. But the fact about it is that it's no longer a farmer-header clash. Because somebody will be in his farm and then some persons will come and destroy all his crops. And that is the source of his income. You dare not talk because your village or the community could be raised down just within the twinkle of an eye. You see, that is where we are now in Nigeria. And it's a very serious problem. If in the last about 10 years, it has been worsened by the manner for which the last administration, has handled it. But right now, the current president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, has rejigged and reorganized his security architecture. In fact, the mere fact that he has appointed somebody that is a 4-star general, as the Minister for Defense, that is the way to go. Putting square pegs in square holes and then ensuring that the right thing is done.
Okay, you're talking about employing a 4-star general. You are the Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness. People have pointed finger at poor leadership as the reason for the rising insecurity over the years. They are pointed to politicians who seek political position and say because they want to remain in power, because they want to gain politically, they employ all forms of tactics. Some of them including bringing in bandits, bringing in terrorists so as to achieve their political gains. Would you blame all of this for leadership, as a result of poor leadership?
Yeah, sure. You see, going by some stories, that has culminated the air around that 2014, the desperation to ensure that a former president was removed, the desperation also to ensure that he rarely leaves the office. There is this school of thought that believes that some of these hydra-headed insurgents and all that, especially the bandits we see today, were actually imported to ensure that even if the man does not leave, he will be compelled via the activities of these insurgents that were brought in then. But I might differ in my thoughts, but this was the speculation, as far as Nigeria is concerned. But at the end of the day, because if you look at the heavy swing, if you look at the heavy influx of terrorists into Nigeria and the kind of weapon they carry, the kind of heavy firearms they carry, you know that these people are not just, they are heavily funded, they are, well, it was before now our people feel that they are not well, they are not tactical, they are not well trained, that they are just bushmen, they are local. That's not true. If they are bushmen, if they are not tactical, if they are not well trained, how were they able to kill a major general? Which I have never heard, brigadier general, sorry. I have never heard such a thing before. The very gallant, officer. How were they able to get those kind of classified information to know that he's coming in or to know his exits and to know how to go about it? Some of the information we saw, made some of us to weep, actually, to feel bad. And this carrot approach of, saying that you've de-radicalized, terrorists, and then you bring them back to either the armed forces or the police or wherever, brother, is not the way to go. And that is, what it means. You see, for about 4 days, I could not eat well because I know what it is to be a general in the Nigerian army. And I know that this Nigerian army is solid. Right. They are rugged.
Okay, Dr. Nwambu, just hold your thought. We'll have a call coming in. Let's see if we can get this call. Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay, that call just went up. Please do call us back if you want to join us. 0810-885-1189. 0810-885-1189. And we'll be joining Honorable Dr. Gabriel Nwambu, Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, me here in the studio. We're also expecting Honorable Dr. Ozoma Kem Abonta, who has been in the National Assembly for 4 times. Sorry to have cut you short there, Dr. Nwambu. You were talking about how shocked you were when you heard that the Major General was
a Brigadier General.
The Brigadier General was killed, yes.
So, it's not the way to go. So, if those people are ill-trained, how were they able to tactically locate where he was even hiding? Because in the middle of the gunfire, the man escaped. We saw some, that was made public, his charts with his command unit where he was telling them that he should be picked, that they should hover around and all that his phone was at 31% and all. We saw some of those things that were made public, if we are going to go by those information. Yeah. It shows that the man escaped, because he's gallant, So what happened thereafter? How were the terrorists able to navigate and do the coordinates to get where he was at that point? It shows some... If you see, they know... In fact, the Nigerian government owns intelligence. Yeah. They know... I can't teach them their job. The Nigerian government knows what to do.
Yes, because the minister echoed what you just said while he was being screened by the Senate. He said he expressed surprise that a commanding officer of that status had to be taken away. So what you're saying is that it shows the kind of sophistication that these terrorist bandits and kidnappers have, that Nigeria should not begin to rely basically on this carrot approach.
The carrot approach is not the way to go.
Okay.
Because
so you want the kinetic approach?
It must be kinetic full time. And again, this idea of talking about de-radicalization is not the way to go. Because there are tendencies from what is happening. Look at how this Brigadier General was gruesomely murdered. Now look at the kidnap of the schoolgirls in Kebbi State. Now, the military that were there, that were providing security, because they got intel that there's going to be an attack. But we hear that 45 minutes after they left, the security that was providing very serious covert, security for the school and all that, 45 minutes after they left, the insurgents, the terrorists struck. Now, the question is, who commanded them? Or was it an order? Who ordered them to leave? who ordered them to vacate, to create that lacuna, to create that, porous state for the terrorists to now have a field day to come and take away the girls? You see, these are questions that must come up. Even in the death of that Major General, who gave the coordinates? How did the terrorists know that he was even coming? How did they know to open fire? Where he told them where he was? Who gave the information to provide? Who sold out? These are things, you see, Nigeria government owns intelligence, just like I told you. If the government decide and the president, commander-in-chief decides to find out these things, he knows it all.
Yes.
So there are tendencies of sabotage, in essence. That's what I'm saying. That if you de-radicalize somebody and bring him into the Nigerian army, for instance, there is a tendency, 100% possibility of him sabotaging the entire effort. You make a plan, he gives to his men in the bush. You classified information and made known to these people, which is unsafe. It's like calling your enemy to come and be your megad, your security man. It's unfortunate, and it's not the way to go. So those that were so-called radicalized and put there should be removed immediately.
Okay, people have called for the stoppage of that program. And what you said, Senator Engineer Baribe, on the floor of the Senate, on the day the National Assembly discussed insecurity, did say that those that gave that order in Kebi should be made public. But that hasn't come, except, of course, the government wants to keep it secret so as not to escalate matters. But people have asked questions over that, and there are so many questions. Even the Minister of Defense, former Chief of Defense Staff, has also said that to fight insecurity in Nigeria, it has to be for everyone. I mean, it's not a one-man show. So he did say that there's need for all arms of security now, interagency collaboration to fight this. In case our listener is wondering why we're concentrating on insecurity as we discuss state of the nation, it is because that is where we are today, and that is where we're trying to find the solutions to that problem. You can join us by calling 0810-885-1189. 0810-885-1189. Now, you've been listening to Dr. Gabriel Nwambu, Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness. The program is HallowMace on radio, and the radio is Democracy Radio 104.9. Please do join us, and let's hear your side of the story. Now, Doctor, let's look at how possible it is to tackle this menace as we move. It seems to be escalating, and that was why the United States did coming. But that coming in seemed to have been seen in different directions. Some people think that it would have been nice if President Trump said, look, I'm coming in to tackle insecurity, instead of giving the narrative that it was one-sided or not. But everyone agrees that there's insecurity in Nigeria, and that people have called for intervention or help. Let us not use the term intervention, help, to see how we can get off them. How do you see the collaboration, a possible collaboration between Nigeria security agencies and the American side of it?
Okay, thank you so much. You see, Nigeria as a nation does not really need to wait for Donald Trump to make utterances before they'll take up the challenge to do the right thing. That is a fact. We don't need to wait for Trump to, so a lot of people will now start sending delegation, the NSA, and before we do the right. No. We don't need Trump. Trump's interest is in the United States. If he has interest in Nigeria because of, he has made some utterances, that's another thing. But I tell you something, no person can love Nigeria more than Nigerians themselves. Okay? So, what are we saying? Until recently, in the last few days, I'm hearing some serious, how do they put it? They put it as, you know, the military has, is it diluted? No, they call it, there's a subtle word that is used. They neutralized, they've neutralized some terrorists in some places, and that is the way to go. But coming to the kidnap of the schoolgirls in Birnin Kebbi, it is not time for you to shield the person who gave the order for them to leave. The fact that you bring that person out, ensure that that person faces the wrath of the law. It makes even the United States to know that you are not, you are not a banana republic. It makes them to know that you're a serious-minded country. It makes them to know that you are not also protecting the terrorists. So it is onerous on the government to fish out whoever gave those order and whoever asked them to leave and what actually transpired in several other killings. The government have to handle it, aggressively and religiously, so that the confidence that has been lost by citizens will come back again that, no, this is our country, government can really protect us. You go and you say you are in your sleep, somebody comes and, gruesomely, kill a lot of people and dismember, chase, overrun a community. And tomorrow you now come and tell them, these people are your neighbors, make peace with them. Stay. No. You don't do such things. You don't do such things because there was no need for even, carnage, killing of people, or innocent, law-abiding citizens, including women and children and the aged. So the era of saying you want to make peace, you are trying to use the approach, carrot approach, have passed. We have surpassed that stage. You don't look at it anymore. These people are coming in droves. There are so many, and they're becoming as sophisticated as possible. ISWAP is not a joke. Wherever they are, there are so many and well-trained. You can see the way they operate. You see the way they operate, you know that they're not jokers. So if you think you want to still be meddling, then all of us will be in jeopardy. So I call upon the country, to the commander-in-chief, especially the president, who I trust so much, to do the needful. He has commenced anyway, and I know he's going the right way, and I hail him for that.
Okay, we have a military that has a reputation. We were in Liberia, we were in Sierra Leone, we were in Mogadishu, we have intervened in several parts of Africa, and still people like you have faith in the military. What could be the problem of today's, some seeming inability to do this? Is it like you mentioned sabotage, which I think should be also be taking a look at? Is it finance? Is it morale? Is it the fact that maybe we are being overwhelmed, but there are too many cases to tackle this time? What do you think could be the problem? Because our military has a reputation.
One of the greatest problems we have that is facing Nigeria now is corruption. And you cannot separate corruption as it affects even the military. Even in the purchase of the military hardwares, the feeding. We've seen some footages of some personnel who are in the forefront, where they have theaters of war and all that, making some video on the kind of food they eat. And he did also mention, the amount that was designated for the meal, each meal, for any military personnel in the theater of war. And you see the kind of food, you can't even give it to your dog. How do you encourage such people? How do you encourage such persons? Sometimes the guys are even, our men, our officers and men in the theaters of war are even short of ammunition. You don't have enough ammunition. You fire a few and then you wait and probably use the remaining few to defend yourself. You don't do such things. Where those people will come and open fire and be running it on rapid. You don't do such things. Why? It's because of corruption. Some people have probably subchanged. If they are asked to make some purchases, they to take it as a deal. And you see, these are the people who do not even want this insurgency thing to end. There are some persons like that because they are making so much money from it. And the moment we fix this thing, this corruption, even in within the military, the moment, if we do not want to fix it, then that means we don't want this war to be won. So, in the same vein, the president has started, doing the right thing. He should also ensure that this corruption in the military is fixed once and for all. Because it is destroying Nigeria, it is eroding the public trust, it is making the international community see us as just something close to a banana republic. This weakening, it's making, it's undermining, making people see our military as nothing. You see, do you know the time it takes to even train just a conventional soldier? It cannot be less than 6 months. And then you just wish that soldier, I'm saying the minimum, would just be, diluted like that. I mean, done away with just like that. It's not fair. He has families, he has relations, he has, everything. So Nigeria's government must take the bull by the horn. Deal decisively with the corruption cases there. Ensure that the military at the forefront are properly remunerated. You see, the last recruitment I saw in some states, especially in the southern Nigeria, you have vacuums there. People were no longer interested in enlisting. They were begging, come and write your name and become, so that you go for training as a soldier. Nobody. People were not interested. The zeal has gone down because people are increasingly losing faith in the government. It's like one agreeing to go for a suicide mission. That is the way the citizens are seeing it. And that is why they're skeptical. When I was a growing child, I saw the military as a very, very prestigious, respected, institution. When you say something, this is a soldier will come close to this place. Everybody will maintain.
Shiny boots and the impeccably ironed uniforms.
Honestly.
We lived close to a barrack in Lagos, Liverpool. In Apapa. Yeah.
So that is the kind of, the way I saw the military, and I grew up like that. Yeah. And I know, and that is why these people, when they're under a fair condition, they went to Liberia, they were the best. They went to Sierra Leone, the best. In the league of other countries where they go, Nigerian military is rated, when they go for international peacekeeping, as one of the best in the world. So what now happens? What is the deficiency? What is the reason why their performances within the country here, within the Nigerian state, becomes abysmally poor? What is responsible? And I have been able to opine that corruption is one of the major problems that is facing the military. And for us to succeed as a nation, we must be willing, not just, there shall be no sacred cows. We shall be willing to deal with this corruption decisively. Otherwise, them, with all their convoy, with all their security, with all their armored, bulletproof vehicles of these so-called elites, you might not be able to escape it. All of us will be here. And these people are not joking. Before you go to your private jet and run to, it might be too late. So the earlier you take this thing seriously, the better for all of us.
I'm sure a lot of people might be listening to you, listening to what we're saying. But you can also call us on 0810-885-1189. That is 0810-885-1189. With me is Dr. Gabriel Nwambu. He's been discussing with me the topic security. I mean, the state of the nation, and we are zeroing in on security because that is actually what we need to talk about today. Now, Doctor, let's look at that. Takes me to the issue of reported case in Burkina Faso, because we have a situation where countries around us that had a lot of respect for us are now beginning to try, to look us in the face and ask and challenge our position as a big brother of Africa. Some of this may be as a result of what you have just said, corruption. And when corruption is reported in Nigeria, it goes outside Nigeria. People see quite a lot of these stories and think, is this how it is? But look at the issue in Burkina Faso. Well, it has to do with the territorial integrity of a nation, as was reported. But don't you think that this issue should have been resolved by now if actually these countries look at us with respect?
Thank you so much. You see, once upon a time, the giant of Africa, the giant seems to be crawling now. And that is why the lion could be challenged by even the rat. Because the lion is crawling. The giant is crawling like a baby, like a toddler. When they look at you and look at just Ghana. Ghana has their own system of, cattle breeding. They have their own system of, ranching systems. And there, do they not have beef? Do they not eat beef there? Are they not well organized in a manner that farmers are doing their bid, in a manner that if you must rear cattle, you don't allow it to roam freely and, destroy the crops of the other farmer. They are living well. Just Ghana here, that is our neighbor. But they also watch us here and see what is happening and see, the manner at which some other people will organize and come and overrun a community, including the killing of old people, women, and children. And they are watching you. Your respect is gone then. They cannot respect you. How would they respect you? They see you as that you are not even serious-minded. Forget about the population. Population without action is zero. It's nothing. International community that are even, let me tell you, it's not these issues of going abroad to market, come to Nigeria to do business, will provide very enabling environment for you. Our taxes are reasonable. You don't need to do any marketing. The marketing you need to do is to deal with terrorists. Arrange the country to be, they will come begging that they want to come and establish here. You don't need to go abroad to go and be marketing, come and open. No, that's seeing what is happening here, mind you. And no investor wants to lose his money. An investor will not come if he feels unsafe here. An investor will not come if he feels his money, something can happen and he will lose his business. An investor will not come if he feels if he's in his factory, some group of people called terrorists will come and kidnap him and ask for 200 billion as ransom. He won't come here now. What's he coming to do? He will go to areas where he feels safe, his capital is safe, his funds are safe, and he can do business. So it's not about marketing. The best marketing the government can do today is to fix Nigeria. Number one, fix insecurity. The insecurity is becoming embarrassing. It's becoming embarrassing. From here, people are supposed to look at the flight tickets. Why? Even the poor people are saving. They'll eat maybe once in a day so that they can save to be able to buy flight ticket to go for Xmas. Why? because the roads are not safe. Even when you land in the airport, the distance between the airport to your destination is still another question again. So otherwise, people like, I have love for driving. One of my hobbies is driving. Bro, I dare not, for more than close to 20 years, I've not tried to even go to the east. Drive to the east. I can't try it. For close to going to 20 years now. Because of the state of the nation. Because of the insecurity. So many other people. You dare not. And that is why the flight ticket is skyrocketing. So they take advantage of, possible advantage of the rush, and then they rip Nigerians off. And that is what is happening. So I encourage the government, I encourage the president and commander-in-chief, to take this insecurity challenge very seriously and continue the way he has just started, and he's doing excellently well.
All right, my last question on insecurity before we go to another topic with which we will be wrapping up the show. Let me remind our listeners that while being screened by the Senate, the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, retired, did say something, and he said it, in a way, maybe he didn't emphasize it, but I listened to that. He said that what's happening around the Sahel, what's happening around the African region, is that criminal gangs, gather, tell themselves that Nigeria is such a rich country, and that this is where they can do business, dig up precious stones, do
gold
and all of that. So that is what is happening. That these insurgents come from outside. A lot of them. He didn't say all of them. A lot of them come from outside Nigeria, and they just gang up together, have a meeting, and they move into Nigeria, and they move in freely. I mean, that goes to show that our borders are not protected. As at 2015, we had a report that over 1,500 areas of our border are not protected. So could porous border and the fact that a lot of people outside Nigeria see Nigeria as a very rich country be the reasons why we're having this problem, Doc?
Yes. Thank you so much. You see, like I told you, the corruption among border officials, the customs, facilitates the illegal importation and proliferation of small, light arms across the country. And it is also inherent. There are a lot of countries that have fenced their country, especially as it affects, the northern part of the country where the borders, these other countries, that are,
Sahel,
with the Sahel. The Sahel areas can be cordoned off. It can be heavily fenced. Even the Minister of Defense at the time, when he was the Chief of Defense Staff, had suggested that we can fence it. We can fence, across the Sahel area. That would also help, to checkmate the illegal influx of these people, so that you can now know the areas to man. Since we do not have, enough men to man the entire, because of the land mass. We don't have men to man the entire land mass. So we can commence a very serious, military kind of fencing that one cannot easily break like that. So that is one of the ways to go. If we do not fence these areas, it becomes the way it is now. It is porous, and they know these ways much better. They've been passing it as a route, smuggling in all manner of things, in those areas. And if even the way it is, the Nigerian customs cannot even face these people because of the kind of arms, they carry. It is only the military that can dare them. But even with that military, the military need to be fortified the more. the modern Tucanos, modern weapon, modern drones, modern, what I mean? So that we fight strategically, just the way Israel is doing, not, attacking innocent, making mistakes in strikes and all that.
Okay, Dr. Nwambu, you're the Director General Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness. Let's look at the polity. This is maybe less than 2 years to the elections in 2027, and we're seeing quite a lot of defections from opposition parties to the PDP, to the ruling party, the APC. And in fact, as we talk now, people are thinking that the opposition has been weakening and that we're tilting towards a one-party state, which the ruling APC has dismissed as a faulty assertion. Now, how do you look at a situation where politicians move from place to place without minding? Ideology has been thrown to the winds. People can cross-carpet at any moment with the flimsiest of excuses. What does that mean to you as someone who watches this trend?
Thank you so much. You see, party cross-carpeting or defection, as you may call it, has become really a defining and problematic feature of Nigeria's Fourth Republic, particularly since 1999. It represents a fundamental weakness in the political party system in Nigeria. You see, Nigeria is copying democracy from the advanced nations. The advanced nation is guided, one, by ideology. Every political party is ideologically driven. He has his own ideology, he has his own policies and philosophies for every political party. So when you see somebody that is a Democrat, he's a Democrat. Somebody that is a Republican, he's a Republican. I'm not really seeing in the last couple of decades, I'm not seeing a Democrat is cross-carpeting, he wants to become a Republican. Even when they lose the elections, they stay put. But Nigeria, what do we have? We have what we could call political pragmatism or self-interest. That's how I have defined it.
That's how you define
what is happening in Nigeria.
Please do say that again.
Is political pragmatism or self-interest. Okay. Now, our politicians we have here, ironically, I have a lot of them who are my friends, but I must hit them hard this time. What they are not driven by ideology. They are not driven by policies or philosophies. They are driven. That is why they easily switch tents. They are driven. They are bereaved of ideas. They are bereaved of ideology. They are what we could classify as food is ready politician. They are not interested in where they would work. They are interested in where they can win elections easily or where they can get appointments. And this is the major and fundamental cause of the continuing weakening of the opposition political parties. You see, some people feel that opposition political party is something that is a wrong thing. It's not a wrong thing. If your opposition actually helps to bring in some level of checks and balances, it makes the ruling party to be on its toes. It brings constructive criticisms in a manner that the ruling party will be on its toes and do the right thing. But in Nigeria, nobody wants to be an opposition here because they're interested in getting appointments and winning elections, clinching on powers and all that. Although the opposition has actually blamed the ruling party of using government institutions, to intimidate, to coerce the opposition, so that we now have what seemingly looks like a one-party state in Nigeria. So I think being a one-party state is not even the way to go. But I predict a fallout. After the primaries, there will be a lot of fallout. And a lot of them that are not accommodated, that could not run under the party for which they preferred, which they have run to as a result of the food is ready syndrome, will now seek for those oppositions. They will go cap in hand to beg for those oppositions, especially when they feel they have what it takes to win election. They are popular, and their people, that are endearing to their people, their constituents. There is likely to be a major shift. So it's not going to be like this. A lot of them will fall out because every senatorial district will only produce one senator. So if everybody defects, you cannot have Senator 1, Senator 2, Senator 3, Senator 4 for one senatorial district. It's not possible. Just one person that is going to run as the party's flag bearer. So I predict.
So you're advising the opposition parties to keep their structures in place.
Opposition parties, political parties should stay and make sense out of reorganize themselves and bring in constructive criticisms and stand firm. The issue we have here is that most of them are not even, and that is why they are also very, very afraid of maybe the EFCC and ICPC and all that. Some of them has also, allegedly though, some of them have also accused the Nigerian police. But all the same, if you have served diligently, if you have, kept to the books, made sure that misappropriation of funds did not happen, at your watch. What is there? You don't need to fear. But it is the fear, the phobia for the EFCC and ICPC, and that is one of the major reasons why, we have a spate of defections and all that.
Okay, now where does that leave the Independent National Electoral Commission? There's a new man at the helm of affairs at INEC. What Professor Joash Amopito, people have said there's a Herculean task ahead of him. With taking a look at Nigeria's electoral process, do you think that it's going to be getting any easier for the new professor, the new INEC boss, as we move into 2027?
Yeah, thank you so much. Professor Joash Amopiton is somebody going by his achievements and what he has stood for over the decades. Professor Amopiton is going to perform. My prediction is that he's going to perform creditably well. And he has started, even if upon his resumption was the Anambra State governorship election, which was almost concluded, before he was sworn in. But the decisive steps he took, the manner for which results were, organized, and declared immediately, without wasting time, and the dullness that is associated with, even with difficult terrains like the Anambra East, the Obaru, the riverine areas and all that, with the difficult terrain, results were still declared, the next morning, very early. That was the first time I'm seeing results being declared that early. Otherwise, there are room for, hold on, we start talking about inconclusive, we start talking about stories, and no. So the man is, Professor Mopiton, the new INEC chairman, is so far has shown that he has the guts to do the right thing. He has decided even from his speeches, the speeches he has made, that he is going to do the right thing, and at the end of the day, the Nigerians will be proud.
Okay, as we begin to wrap up, what advice do you have for Nigerians as we move to the new year, maybe in the area of politics, advice to the government, advice to Nigerians? But in any sphere you think you want to advise Nigerians, you can go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we are moving to the Yuletide now, and you must be very cautious as a Nigerian. First of all, you must be security conscious. I must tell Nigerians by this medium that security is a collective responsibility. You don't leave it for the police or for the DSS or for the military. No. You must be cautious of your environment. As you take your children out, as you go about your lawful duties, you must be circumspect. You must be sure of your environment. You must take a look once in a while. You see something that is not, you are not comfortable with. You see faces that has not been there, over the years that you are not used to. Please feel free to call the Nigerian police, at least, which is the lead agency in charge of internal security. Or they have rolled out some phone lines, which I believe the IGP is still going to make available once again to all Nigerians, depending on your location, the states and all that, so that the various commissioners of police would roll out these phone lines, so that when you see something that you're not comfortable with, you should be able to say it, so that those possible security threats could be nipped from the bud. And I want also to tell Nigerians that they should be wary of the fact that terrorists like to strike soft targets. Soft targets like mosques, soft targets like churches, soft targets like amusement parks, where children go to play, play their, and have a good time, to make merry. So I also advise that the securities in amusement parks, the securities in churches and mosques should be beefed up, so that Nigerians would be able to go through this Yuletide, in a most comfortable manner. And moreover, I saw something in the social media that there is a planned attack for the Christmas Day. I saw something in the social media that there is a possible attack that is going to be perpetrated on Christmas Day. I do not know whether it is speculation. I just saw it in the social media. But it is not that I'm trying to put panic, but it is a wake-up call for Nigerians to be more cautious of the environment. Churches and mosques should beef up security, around the vicinity while worship, takes place.
All right, Dr. Gabriel Nwambu, Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and